Hello guys, welcome back to this series of learning Kiswahili through English. If you have already watched my first lesson, you noted that I'm taking a very different approach in trying to teach the Swahili language. I'm trying to approach this teaching from a perspective of learning the basics, overcoming obstacles, and ensuring that by the end of the lesson you at least carry with you some few phrases that you can use to try make a Swahili sentence. For today, it will be a continuation of our last session, and which was about example sentences that we shall be discussing and trying to deconstruct them in a way that you will be able to see the parts of that particular Swahili sentence from the point of view of understanding, or from an understanding of English. So just like last time, I'll have my two sides here. On this side, I'll have my Swahili. On this side, I'll have my English. So, in the last lesson, I taught you some basics of greetings, and I also discussed one common phrase of Hakuna Matata, and we expounded on it, trying to see, like, other than saying Hakuna Matata, what else can you say other than there's no problem? And we made several examples there. For those who might not have seen that episode, kindly check back and our videos in this channel, and I believe it will be of great help to you. Also, I would recommend that watching that first episode is quite important, because it has some basics of understanding Swahili language that actually we'll be using in this particular lesson. So as we move forward, I have few sentences in Swahili that I want us to discuss and try to change them, or to alter them, to see, like, how can you, from what you learn from one sentence, how can you apply it in another sentence, maybe depending on the tense of the action that you are referring to, or singularity and plurality of the people involved. So today, our first example of a Swahili statement that maybe you might be of help to you is nisaidie na maji. Yes. Yes. So in this particular case, this example that I've indicated here, nisaidie na maji, a direct translation of this statement is help me with some water. Help me with some water. nisaidie na maji. If you have been following what I've been saying from the previous lessons, you'll note that this word ni, this part, not word actually, part of that word ni, it references to self. It references to self in the manner that if I want to talk about myself, I'll say ni saidie, ni inue, ni ite, such like things. So when you talk of ni, it is making reference to yourself. So that's why you see that in this sentence it's about you borrowing some water. So nisaidie na maji. So this one, this is the water. Maji ni water. And nisaidie, saidie is this is help. Nisaidie. So up to that point is help, saidia. Oh, okay, like saidia is the actual meaning or the actual word that means help. So but when you are using it in a sentence, it is nisaidie. So when you say nisaidie na maji, the implied, so this ni here, this part ni here is referencing to me or I. So in this case, nisaidie na maji, the basic meaning or the implied meaning is help me with some water. So in this case, nisaidie na maji, you can vary this sentence in. If you don't want to borrow water, maybe you want to borrow something else. Let's say like you want to borrow a book from someone. Utasema, or you'll say, nisaidie na kitabu chako. Nisaidie na kitabu chako. Nisaidie na kitabu chako. So the meaning here means help me with your book. Help me with your book. So in this sentence and this one are actually similar. So this part, nisaidie na kitabu chako. Now this is where this is kitabu is book. Chako is your. So that's why you see the Swahili word for kitabu is for book is kitabu, and chako is your. And when we talk of this one as your, later on as you continue learning Swahili language, you will note that there are some things that we do call ngeli. They are called ngeli. So in ngeli, what we do is sometimes when we are talking about a book, okay, this chako, there is a prefix here. This is a prefix of, okay, it's your, but what is it that is yours? In this case, it's the book. And when you're dealing with what we call ngeli, we try to or what it implies is that this prefix of what you own is that object can be classified in different ways. Like sometimes you can be referring to an animal, like maybe a cow. You can be referring to a shoe. You can be referring to a phone, such a thing. So sometimes this thing will vary, this prefix of what is yours. So, but the last part here does not change, ako. So like let me give you an example. So about ngeli, that's a bit advanced. I just mentioned it such that you when as you advance, at least you get some ideas that it's not maybe right to say it's not right to say a good example is maji chako. Assuming here we wanted to say we are borrowing some water from someone. So this way, nisaidie na maji, and we want to say it's yours, it's your water that we are borrowing. So this time round we won't say nisaidie na maji chako. Why? Okay, we shall say nisaidie na maji yako. Nisaidie na maji yako. So this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes this prefix here can change depending on what we call ngeli. The ngeli it's like I won't say it's like articles, article a and article the and article an, but they have some relationship. No, okay, no, not actually. Okay, the why we have ngeli is that when you want to talk of water, maybe maji, there is a way that that word must rhyme with what you are talking of the statement there. So maji yako and not, so this is right, and maji chako, this is wrong. You should not say maji chako. But the good thing is, as you start learning the Swahili language, when you say nisaidie na maji chako, I'll understand, like so when you say nisaidie na maji chako, I'll understand. But grammatically in Swahili it's not correct. So that one was just by the way. Anyway, it's you can don't feel like you need to be very perfect. When you just want to communicate and you say like nisaidie na maji chako, it sounds funny, but it's understandable. Like it's just a starting point. With time, you get to know like, no, I shouldn't say maji chako, I should say maji yako. You see, or if you are saying maybe like something like amekata mti wako. In this sentence, this one actually means okay. At number three here, I had forgotten. This one should be help me with your word, like that. In sentence number 4, the meaning of this one, amekata mti wako, this one means he stroke she has cut down your tree. She has cut down your tree. So note that I said in another lesson that in Swahili language we do not have this as separate. What we do is that they are represented by a prefix. So this prefix can either mean a he or a she. Amekata. Now this one, this is the cut down. Mti, this is tree, and this is wako is yours. So amekata mti wako. So the reason why I've used this example is that you see sometimes we vary this depending on what object we are talking about. And there are some rules of depending of this object, mti, maji, kitabu, depending on the classification of these objects, that's where we call them, they are classified into things that we call ngeli. That's why you see that we say kitabu chako, maji yako, mti wako. Those things relate to what we call ngeli in Swahili, but that one is a bit advanced. I was just mentioning it because later on you might want to advance your Swahili, and to speak fluent Swahili, you'll need to understand ngeli. And in that ngeli, that's where you know that it's not right to say mti chako, but it's rather mti wako. So that's what it implies. So amekata mti wako, that is, she has cut down your tree. Let me look for another ideal example based on